Now, fifth graders, you have to dance with us.
You have to.
It's such a dancey tune.
It really is.
And if you're at home, nobody's watching them, they won't know, right?
Even if they are. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's that saying? Dance like nobody's watching?
That's right.
Dance like nobody's watching.
That's right.
Yep.
It makes you in a good mood, doesn't it?
It does. It really perked me up.
It does. Well, friends, before we begin, we actually have a really fun lesson today.
Yes.
I'm really excited about it.
I am too.
I love doing input charts. It's one of my favorite things. Before we do that, we are going to check in with our zone. How are you feeling today? What's your brain feeling like? Like, are your thoughts kind of normal? Are you having thoughts that make you feel sad or worried? Are your thoughts kind of random and all over the place? What? I think we're just going to deal with our brain today. Can we just do our zone of our brain?
Yes, let's do that.
Because we always do everything. Let's focus on our brain today. What zone is your brain in? So your body and your emotions can be one thing, but your thoughts, are they organized? Are they jumbled? Are they sad? Do they make you worry? Are they excited? Are they slow?
Teachers?
It's interesting to think about my zone in just my brain, because my body is doing something different than my brain.
Yeah, I think it's important to recognize that.
Yeah.
Especially as you get older, that you can realize that your brain and your body are connected, but sometimes they're different zones.
Yeah. So my brain is in the green zone.
Great.
I'm good to go. And I also am excited for our lesson because Mrs. Wally does amazing input charts, and I always learn a lot from them.
They're really fun.
I'm excited.
I learned a lot while I was getting the input chart ready yesterday.
Yeah.
My brain is in the green zone.
Good.
It's feeling nice and calm today. It's feeling organized.
Oh, nice.
Which is nice because sometimes my brain does not feel organized. Sometimes my brain has all these different thoughts going, and it's really hard for me to get what I'm thinking out. I had a day like that yesterday.
Yeah.
Today, though, my brain is feeling really organized and focused, which is fantastic.
That does feel good.
It does. Mr. Kevin, how's your brain doing today?
Oh, my brain's solidly in the green zone.
Wonderful.
Sounds like we're going to have a good day at the TV
Yeah.
classroom.
Woohoo.
Because when our brains are not in the green
Oh,
zone,
that's hard.
it can be really hard to get the rest of your body and your emotions to be in the green zone.
Yeah.
I notice, though, if my body's not in the green zone, but my brain's in the green zone, I'm typically okay. Our brain's a powerful tool we have.
It really is.
All right, before we begin,
3 personal standards.
they're important,
They are.
whether you're with people in your class or you're at home, because you need to show respect to yourself.
And make good decisions.
Because, you know, you don't have your teacher there making sure you do your work, and you're a 5th grader and you're about to go to middle school.
What?
And when you go to middle school, teachers don't do what they do in elementary school. You're responsible for your own work.
You have to make sure that you have all your materials. No one's
Yeah.
going to remind you.
Nope. So what materials do they need today, Miss Oslin?
Well, today and every day they should have a science or writing journal
Something
of some
to write
sort.
in. I have mine.
Or
and a
you could
pen.
have a whiteboard and a marker, or just a piece of paper, just anything that you have.
Or your computer to type on.
Oh, that's a great idea. Yeah.
Something to get your thoughts and ideas down. What we don't want to have happen is you just to sit there and stare and watch us the whole time.
We're pretty entertaining. However,
You have work to do. This is school. It's fun work, but it's school.
Yeah.
Which means we also need to solve our own problems,
definitely.
right?
Yeah.
If you're in class and you've been assigned to do this and your teacher's working with a small group, you can't go bug them.
No.
You've got to solve your own problems.
I
And
always taught my students the only reason to interrupt me is if there's blood, barf, or broken bones.
I also added, because I taught kindergarten 1st grade, if they had to pee.
Oh, well then they can just,
In kindergarten, you have to know they're going.
oh, that's true. You
They're
got to know
little
where
guys.
they are.
5th graders, they can manage that on their own.
Take care of your business.
So making good decisions, making sure you're focused, you're paying attention, you're doing your work, solving any problems that come up. Are you ready?
we got this.
So
Okay,
I just
yes.
have to add that I think that barf is a funny word.
It is kind of a funny word, isn't it?
It was always fun when we created that chart that showed, and so,
Yes.
you got to draw a picture of someone barfing.
Yeah.
And that's always...
I have a thought that's going to take us on a tangent, so I'm going to keep it to myself.
Okay, hold on to it though. I want to hear it later.
Yeah, I'll tell you later. All right, let's get going.
Oh, this is going to be so interesting.
I forgot about this. I'm so excited for this one.
So thinking about how in our last lesson, we looked at a photo, it was a phenomenon photo of the humpback whales and their feeding bubbles. Oh, it was more of a video, wasn't it? It was a video
of like these bubbles and these birds and...
Yeah.
But wait till you see what we found. Oh, yeah, yeah, it's pretty cool. What do you notice, wonder, or think? You have 1 minute. Jot down your thinking.
There's so much to look at and think about in that photo.
There is. You know, I just learned something about myself the last few times we've done this that I normally process by talking.
Yeah.
But I'm actually enjoying writing down my thinking while you're thinking in your head to process.
Oh.
Because I feel like I'm getting my thoughts out without interrupting you. And then I don't forget them.
What a great strategy.
Thought I'd point that out, friends.
What did you notice or think or wonder?
I picked 3. I did one of each.
Did you? Okay.
I think I would be really scared if I was in that boat.
That was part of my wondering.
It's really cool, but wow.
I was wondering if when those whales come back down into the water, if the waves are going to capsize the boat, make it tip over.
I also wondered how many times do they go up and down to feed? Like how many times do they go up, close their mouth, filter out, eat, go up, close their mouth, filter out, eat? Right, because that's they have the baleen, so they open their mouths, they go up, they close the baleen, they come back down, it filters the water out, and then they eat the krill or the plankton or whatever it is that's there, the little fish. I wonder how many times they do that in a feeding. I mean, I can tell you it's more than one by what we saw in that video.
Right.
Because think about doing that over and over would make all those bubbles.
It would. And those whales are really big, so certainly one mouthful isn't going to
feed them. I noticed how huge they are. Look at the size ratio, and you can tell that boat's fairly close to them. So look at the size between the boat and the whale mouth. I mean, that boat could fit in the whale mouth.
It could.
What would happen if if a whale came up under the boat on accident?
Oh my goodness.
And why don't they?
Oh, how do they know to avoid the boat?
Because I've seen lots of videos of like orcas in the Salish Sea, like next to a kayak, and they come up right next to it. Or like when I was sailing with my family, the whale came right next to the boat. It didn't go underneath, and we were all really scared, and the captain was scared our prop was gonna hit them, but it didn't.
Yeah.
It knew to stay away. Yes, Mr. Kevin?
Okay, so listen to this. A typical baleen whale weighs 50 tons and needs nearly 400,000 calories per day.
Whoa.
In the summertime, they spend 15 hours a day feeding.
That is amazing.
15 hours a day? So that's 9 hours that they're not eating?
And I'm wondering, are these baleen whales or are they humpback whales or are they in the same family? Or because I know there's lots of different whales that have baleen, so I'm wondering which ones these are.
Yeah.
I thought I knew they were humpback whales, but I guess I don't. I don't know for sure. I wonder.
They're huge.
They're huge.
They could be gray whales too.
They could be.
But there's somewhere that looks like the Pacific Northwest.
It does,
Look at those
with the
mountains in the back.
mountains.
All right, shall we go
That
on?
was an awesome picture.
If you noticed something or wondered something different, we would love it if you emailed it to us.
Yeah.
Because it always helps us learn and grow too.
Yes.
We learn just as much from you as you learn from us. And that's something Miss Oslin and I have really missed this year because we don't have any students here with us. And so we don't get to learn as much from our students. So we would love it if you sent us an email
Please
with
do.
just a little like, hi, I'm so-and-so from this school. The whale picture, I noticed. Da, 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 da. And we'll email you back.
And if you do that, we'll enter your name into a drawing and you could win
This poster, which is going
the
to be
input
awesome.
chart. It's going to be so neat. And we'll sign it. With our autographs on the back.
Yeah,
Okay, let's talk about our essential question because it's different today.
it is.
Today today in the next several lessons, we're gonna think about why are salmon important to the Salish Sea? We had been talking about the different zones in the ocean,
And especially in the tidal zone.
the intertidal zone. Now we're gonna think more about salmon.
And you're going to learn about salmon and how many zones they travel through.
Yes.
And we're trying to figure out, they're a really important species in our Salish Sea. I would beg to say one of the most important. And we need to figure out why. That's our job and how we can help them as
Yes.
fifth graders. What can we do to help this really important species that's actually in danger right now?
And we have some really amazing community partnerships
That we're going to be
making,
doing. Oh, it's
where we're
going to be so
gonna
much fun.
learn more about conservation and how we can protect our salmon.
And you're going to get to hear from experts and see parts of the salmon life cycle. And I'm really, really excited.
Yes, yes. So let's review.
Mr. Kevin, are you ready?
Okay, hang on a second here. I'm almost.
By the end of today, Mr. Kevin will be ready when we get to it.
Big science word.
It's worth the wait, Mr. Kevin.
It is.
We had learned several big science words. We learned the word interdependent, when two or more things need each other.
And we're still going to do that. Yesterday, we did not do a very good job.
We didn't.
I think both of our brains were a little sluggish yesterday.
Little bit.
But today, whenever we say the word interdependent,
Interdependent, when two or more things need each other.
you need to do that because that's the big word of this whole unit of study is how things are interdependent.
Interdependent, when two or more things need each other. And when you repeat it over and over, and when you do those motions with your hands, that helps your brain take that learning and change it into long-term memory.
And even people who struggle with turning things into long-term memory, like me, this strategy gets it into my long-term memory.
It's a good one.
It's a good one.
We also learned about the intertidal zone, which is the shore area exposed between high tide and low tide. We learned that a habitat is the natural environment of a plant or animal.
It's their home. It's where they live within an ecosystem.
Yes. Today we're going to learn the word conservation. Say conservation.
Conservation. I wonder how many syllables that has.
Oh.
Conservation. For shun. That's a suffix. Conserve.
That's what I heard, was the word conserve.
Conserve and then shun. What does shun mean? What does that suffix mean? Is it like the act of?
I think so. The act of.
Shun is the act of something. Yeah. So the act of conserving, which is what?
I thought about the word keep. Like if I'm going
If I'm going to conserve the milk, I'm going to use
keep-
just a little bit and
yeah.
make sure not to use it all.
Yeah, or I guess save would have been maybe
Maybe
a better
save.
word.
Ooh. To conserve is to save. So like if I'm conserving money this month,
Oh,
it means
yeah.
I'm going to be saving most of my money, trying not to spend a lot of it
Yeah.
for whatever reason.
Yeah. So keep and save can be synonymous, but there's little
bit different.
differences.
But how would that relate to the Salish Sea and salmon?
Well, you mentioned that they were in danger.
Oh.
So the definition I found for conservation was the act of keeping and protecting from waste, loss, or destruction.
So we're protecting it.
Protecting the salmon from waste, loss, or destruction.
Ooh. Okay. Conservation, the act of keeping something and keeping it safe.
And the sentence, no, where's my sentence?
The sentence disappeared.
The sentence is gone.
Well, let's come up with one.
Fifth graders,
No
we
problem.
need a sentence with the word conservation.
Would you mind putting up the big science words, Mr. Kevin?
Certainly.
Conservation.
The act of keeping and protecting.
You want the actual.
Yeah, there we go.
There we
Thank
go.
you.
Oh, Magoo.
We like the graphic too, Mr. Kevin.
We do. Let's see. A sentence for conservation. Yes, Mr. Kevin?
Conservation is the key to success. Let's see. Conservation is the key to ensuring that. Well,
I have
help
one.
me.
Conservation is the key to a healthy Salish Sea.
Yes.
Perfect.
Teamwork.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
I love it.
Oh, Mrs. Wally, nice job.
That's a good sentence.
That was a good sentence. See?
Conservation is the key.
Remember that sentence, to a healthy Salish Sea. And
a
it's nice
healthy
because it
Salish
rhymes.
It does rhyme. It just rolls right off the tongue, doesn't it?
I think you
Oh,
should patent that.
I really like that.
Yeah.
Conservation is the key to a healthy Salish Sea.
sea.
And in 5th grade, we're learning about how to keep our Salish Sea healthy. And one of the things we need to learn about is this species that lives in our Salish Sea.
Yeah. Let's do that.
Okay, so we're gonna do an input chart all about, Mr. Kevin, you can show my chart. Now, salmon. I have a trick for spelling salmon, 5th graders. It's salmon.
Yes.
Salmon. Salmon. Life cycle. Now, there's some really interesting things about the salmon life cycle.
Yes.
I'm gonna leave that one there because I'm gonna need it. I'm gonna start up here. Salmon's, well, there's the question. You've probably all heard, 5th graders, is it the chicken or the egg that's first, right? Miss Oslin and I were talking about this yesterday. Should I start with the spawning or adult, or should I start with the eggs? And so I decided to start with the eggs because that's when the life of the salmon actually starts. So we have the eggs. And once they're laid, they hatch in about 3 months. But they don't hatch fully grown, just like human babies don't come out fully grown. They don't hatch fully grown. Once they hatch, ooh, this word, I meant to look it up, and I didn't. I think it's called alevin.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know how to
We're gonna
pronounce
have to look how to pronounce that. I meant to put it on here and I forgot. I think it's alevin.
it. I bet Mr. Kevin can look it up for
Could
us.
you look that up for us, Mr. Kevin, how to pronounce that? And the alevin feeds off its yolk sac. It's yolk sac. So what it is it hatches out and it creates this little fishy looking creature, but it has this thing right here. And this yolk sac, and it can swim, this yolk sac is full of nutrients. And so it doesn't eat anything yet. It gets the nutrients from the yolk sac. And it does that for several weeks. I
You
hear
were
it back.
correct. It's alevin.
Alevin, perfect. It feeds off the yolk sac for several weeks. So it takes 3 months to hatch. It's laid, 3 months it hatches. It turns into this funny looking creature and it feeds off of this for several weeks. And once the nutrients are gone from the yolk sac, it turns into a fry. Not a French fry, not like you get at McDonald's. Turns into a fry, which starts to look more like a fish. like a little tiny baby fish. It has an eye, and it starts to get all of its structures in place. It starts to get some scales and some fins and a mouth. And it's like this. Oop, I forgot to put my arrow. Now, something you could be doing right now, 5th graders, is taking down notes about the life cycle, or drawing along with me if you wanted to.
That'd be a great idea.
It takes 5 to 10 weeks. That's how old it gets. It gets up to 10 weeks when it's a fry. And swimming. It just swims, 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 swims. So this is like starting to swim, and this is when it can swim now. So now it can really get places. The fry, the alevin, I think I said that.
Alevin?
It stays kind of near where it hatched.
Okay.
And then once it turns into the fry, then it starts to swim.
Okay.
So it's a fry for 5 to 10 weeks.
And it starts to eat something other than
I think
the yolk
so.
sac.
Yeah.
'Cause
Oh
that's
yeah,
gone.
because the yolk sac's gone. So then it turns into a par.
So we have eggs, alevin, fry, par.
And the par has a little eye, has a little mouth. And you know, it's a very technical drawing I'm doing here. It's called the par. So P-A-R-R. If anything, you need to write down each of these types. Okay? And this is several months old. So it grows and grows and grows. And it develops these things called finger markings. And later you're gonna see some pictures in a song. And you're gonna start to see the finger markings. It almost looks like someone's taken their finger and put it all over the top of the salmon. It's getting older. So this is like 3 months old, and then a few more weeks, and then this is like 10 weeks old, and then this is several months old.
Okay.
Develops the finger marks. To me, I'm like, hey, it's a fish. But it's not, it's like halfway done now. So then what happens, I wonder? Well, then we get to the smolt stage. The smolt is when they start to head out to sea. And they're there for 1 to 3 years. Now, I did not know that. They group up. So they're not really in a group here. They group up with other smolt, and they head out to sea in a group.
A school, right? A school of fish?
I think so. Mr. Kevin, can you look up what a group of salmon is called? I think it's a school of fish. And it really starts to look like a grown salmon. Like one, I've caught a salmon before, but it's still kind of small. And it has gills. That's how it breathes in the water. And it has these finger markings that I was talking about, really developed now up at the top. Look at that.
So we have eggs, alevin,
fry,
fry, par,
smolt. Now this was the fact that I was like, whoa. I don't remember if you remember when I said it last night.
I remember it.
This is the adult. Now, I thought I knew that salmon lived in the sea for 1 year and came back. But adult salmon actually spend 1 to 8 years
Wow.
at sea. So some might go 1 year, but not all of them. I think it depends on where they travel to. It can spend up to 8 years out in the ocean, which is amazing.
That's a long time.
And as we watch a video today, I want you to think about the ecosystems that these salmon travel through in their lifetime, because they are not born in the sea. You might not have known that. Salmon are not born in the sea. They travel to the sea through other ecosystems. I know that you can catch salmon because we have a lake. My mom has a cabin up at Lake Wenatchee, and there's salmon season every year where people go and catch salmon to eat. And they're in a lake up in the mountains, and no one put them there.
Oh, that's interesting.
But this says they're out at sea
Like in the Salish Sea.
for 1 to 8 years. But I catch them in the freshwater,
How do
up in a mountain?
How do they get there?
That's what we're gonna learn.
Yay.
So the last stage of life for a salmon, and they do die at the end of this stage, and that's just part of their life cycle, is when they become a spawning adult. And they really change appearance as a spawning adult. They look very different than the regular salmon look. They get this really red color, and their nose really gets pointy.
Yes.
And they kind of change shape a little bit. They get really fat and wide. And that's how you know either they're about to spawn, which means to lay eggs and fertilize them, or they've already spawned. The redder it is, the chances are it has already spawned. And so it gets really, really red. And you'll see a video of that. And they spawn. This was also crazy to me. They've spent all this time, months, several weeks, 5 to 10 weeks, several months, 1 to 3 years, 1 to 8 years. And then they spawn. And they die within 2 weeks.
Just like that.
It's the very end of their life cycle. They spawn, which means they lay the eggs and fertilize them. And then their job is done. And they have laid new eggs. And then the eggs hatch, become the alevin, turn into the fry, into the par, into the smolt, into the adult. And then they spawn. Now I'm wondering what predators in the Salish Sea eat the adult salmon. Do you have any ideas who eats the adult salmon? I know humans do. But who else eats it other than the humans? We're gonna learn that. All right, are you ready? We have a song. Yes, Mr. Kevin?
Oh, I just wanted to tell you that, so a group of salmon,
Yes.
it can be, you can call it a bind,
Okay.
B-I-N-D, bind.
A bind.
A draught,
Oh.
D-R-A-U-G-H-T. Some people might say draft, I don't know.
How to spell that again?
D-R-A-U-G-H-T.
A draught. Those are the two?
Or a run.
Oh.
Or a run, like the run
I've
of
heard of that.
salmon.
A run of
Run of
salmon.
salmon.
Okay.
So that's when they group.
Yeah. And those are the names.
I've heard a run of salmon
Yes,
before. The
okay,
salmon
yeah.
run, right? The group of salmon moving together
Yep.
to spawn. I'm not going to give away where they go because
Yes.
the song will tell us where they go. Are you ready? I added that to our input chart. Okay.
Oh, I have to do my
No, you
my
can
little
play
trick,
it.
don't I?
Mr. Kevin, can we hear it? Let's see. No.
Okay. Let me see.
Mr. Kevin, do you need to switch anything on your soundboard to be able to hear what's on her computer?
I had it muted, so that
Oh, that's why.
was why. Hopefully.
Nope, it's playing. Technical difficulties, fifth graders. Thank you so much. Well, you're watching it, but we need to be able to hear it. No, I want you to freeze. Frozen. Good. We cannot hear her. Should it be on the Extron HDMI, Mr. Kevin?
Oh, that's right.
It's on. Nope, it's on it. It's on the display audio. but
Remember,
we're
we
not-
had the other cord.
Oh, we had that other. The other.
But the HDMI should work.
It should.
Yeah. Is it on now?
It's on now, but we can't hear it still.
Okay. Well, it's hit play and see what happens.
Okay, here we go. It's playing. Oh, it's so good too.
How about this? What if I try getting the other
Hang on,
cord?
Mr. Kevin's he's gonna solve it. You can just watch it while we.
Oh, is that the Alevin?
Uh-huh.
Because I saw the yolk.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, so now you should.
Yep. Okay, we're gonna start it over.
Okay.
Okay, are you ready, friends? Maybe.
First I was an egg, I was petrified. In a gravel road, 3,000 brothers by my side. It's nice and safe here in the dark, 'cause I'm just so sensitive, but I'll be stronger. Gonna show you how to live, gotta watch your back. Lot of dangers here, changing temperatures and silted plants, predators.
Oh dear.
Yeah, gotta wait about 3 months and then I'll hatch and grow into an alien. I'm not just an embryo, I'm gonna live. It's not a drag. Imagine a fish that comes with its own lunch bag. I'm the one who's
Its own lunch bag.
dark and all times. I'm still fragile. Soon I'll be a fry, but I will survive. As long as I know how to swim, I know I'll stay alive. Gonna give my life an ocean, gotta swim down to the ocean. I will survive. I will survive. Hey.
Ooh, getting bigger, getting those finger marks.
Now I'm swimming free, darting left and right. No more living in the red or hiding from the light. I'm
See the
eating
finger marks?
lots of little bugs and plankton from the stream, eat or be eaten. Sometimes you just gotta be me, so I'll grow. Will be my fate. One day I might just end up on your dinner plate.
We do eat salmon, we're one of their predators.
Reach the estuary, I've heard. Let's just hope that I don't get eaten by a bird. 'Cause now I've grown to be smart. I'd like to stick around and talk, but I've got a bolt. Pretty soon I'll be an adult and full grown. Make my way back to the oldest dream I've known. Now I stay alive.
Oh, there it is. You see the chain? Let's start that over. See how their appearance really changes when
really
they become
does.
a spawner? Okay. So before we do this chart, I want to talk about something I heard in the video.
Yes.
They said, I have to swim upstream.
The only stream I've known.
I wonder what that means. We're not going to tell you today. We want you to think about it. I want you to think about, what do you think you know about salmon in the Salish Sea? What do you want to learn? Now that you've had this like really big overview of them, what part of it interests you? What part of it are you like, oh, I heard them say this in the song, or like, they need the smolt or the silt, and like, what's that? Or as long as I can lay my eggs, my species will survive.
Or you asked the question about what predators are in the
Right, like we saw the bear and the eagle, but are there other ones?
There are others.
What do you want to learn about the salmon life cycle and how it's part of a healthy Salish Sea?
And the term conservation that we learned.
And I want you to write it down in your journal because we're going to revisit it. So put a T chart in your journal. Just Mr. Kevin, you can show my journal if you wouldn't mind. You can just make a T chart and write, I think I know. And I want to, and this is your assignment for today.
And leave space between your ideas, because where you write what you think you know, as we learn more, we know that scientists are open to changing their thinking.
Yes.
So leave space so that you can go back and revise what you think you knew.
Yeah, so this is your assignment today. You can turn it into your teacher. You can turn it into us here at the TV classroom, and you'll be entered into a drawing for this salmon chart.
Yes.
Which is great.
I would like to win it.
I kind of want to know what you want to learn. What that does for us is if you email us what you want to learn, then we will take that and we will make sure we do that. And we'll even say, well, so-and-so from whatever school wanted to learn this, and we're going to address that today.
Yes.
Which would be so cool to see your idea on TV.
Yes, very exciting.
Okay.
So keep thinking about our essential question. Why are salmon important to the Salish Sea? And like Mrs. Wally said, you're going to write that T-chart about what you think you know and what you want to know. And you can send it to us here at TV Classroom. And Mr. Kevin's going to tell you how you can do that.
Of course, you can send it to TV Classroom at tacoma.k12.wa.us. You can also mail us something to the TV Classroom headquarters right here downtown Tacoma, 601 South 8th Street, Tacoma, Washington, 98405.
Awesome. Thank you, Mr. Kevin. Well, friends, it's the end of our lesson.
That went fast.
It went fast for me. I hope it went fast for you.
Yeah.
It's time for our affirmation.
Our affirmation. I was thinking that we could bring back thinking about how we can be a strong teammate and overcome team hurdles by using positive discussions. Having a positive discussion with our teammates about our thinking. So I think our affirmation should be, I can promote positive team discussions.
All right, let's try it, friends. Here we go.
Take a deep breath and say it with us.
I can promote positive team discussions.
Excellent job today, fifth graders. It was wonderful having you back
really
in our
was.
TV classroom. We hope you have a great rest of your day, and we look forward to seeing you back here next time.
Bye, fifth graders. See you later.
Rules. 1. You have 10 seconds to pick your crewmate. 2. A new timer will appear with an exercise for the crewmate you picked. 3. You will get points for each correct crewmate and exercise you choose. 4. If you pick the imposter, you will lose all your points. 5. Use your math skills to see how many points you can get. Good luck!